Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our show where we discuss all things autism and more. As usual, it's myself, Claire, with Patricia and Irene. And today we are joined with a guest called Charles Mwangala. We've heard your requests and your feedback. It's an all-female show. We've hosted female guests in the past. And people were starting to ask, but where's the male perspective? What do the daddies, the fathers think? What do they say? And today we are very honored and very humbled that Charles has agreed to join us and tell us a little more or a little bit about his journey with parenting a child on the autism spectrum. So welcome, Charles.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Lovely ladies, by the way. I wouldn't, when I received the call from Irene, I said, okay, let me try this out. But yes, I'm Charles Mwangala. I have a daughter. She's 7 years old. I have 3 kids.
Okay.
And now the one that is 7, she's the second born, is the one with autism. Now I'm used to it,
Yes.
so it doesn't really bother me. But at first, woo! You know, when we talk about child development
Yes.
and upbringing and behavior change, it started hitting me.
So what's the age gap between, because we're sort of diving into it, maybe give us a brief background, who you are, and then the age gap so that we can then go into the child development.
So
Between her and the first.
the first is 11, the second is, there's an age gap of 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, that's how I normally like to space
Okay.
my kids. So yeah, anyhow, so we give birth to Chanel. Her name is Chanel
Beautiful
Mutongo.
name.
And around the second year, I start noticing some behavioral differences. I'm like, Now, because normally, I'll be honest with you, fathers are not so much into, when that upbringing.
The early
infancy.
stages, yes, the
Yes.
infancy, yes.
We are, I won't say absentee fathers, but we watch from the distance until time comes and they say the child should be crawling, the child should be walking, the child should be talking. That's when you start coming in. So I noticed certain patterns that were not right. Like she would start to get agitated. She wasn't very receptive to sound.
This is at age 2 or earlier?
Yes, not earlier, before she made.
Just before 2.
Before 2, yes.
Ah.
So I thought, because I talked with the mom, and I said, I think there's a problem. And of course, like, no, man, how would it? I'm like, come on. But again, mothers know how to handle children. For me, if I say Chanel and she doesn't respond, I'm like,
I think there's a problem.
there must be a problem.
Problem, yes.
So fast forward, luckily, I work on radio. So this particular year, we hosted a gentleman who was called Mwebe Emma. He came to talk about
Yes.
So he shared. Then I was an intern at Radio City and I was doing news as the news anchor.
Yes.
Now you can imagine the program was between 8 to 9. I had the bulletin at 9. Now Emma is talking about everything that I have noticed with my baby. I lost it. I couldn't show them that I was crying. I was on the computer, but I was shaking. I was like, what do I do? 9 comes. I'm supposed to do the news. So the radio hosts for the Breakfast in the City show, then it was Joel, Judithiana, and Rita. I could not open up and tell them.
I'm struggling with this.
So I had to compose myself. I ran to the loos. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. I'm like, yeah. So before Emma walked out, I took him aside. I'm like, I need your number. We need to talk.
Yes.
Then I walked in. I did the bulletin. Fortunately, my mother on the other side was listening. Now, again, ladies have this gift of knowing that this voice, no. Something is wrong with this person. Yes. So she called me. Unfortunately, she was listening to the show, and she had picked up on the signs, whatever I told her about Chanel. So she calls me. She's like, "A number y'omusajja ogifunye?" I'm like, "Yeah, nyabo."
Mama yebale.
"Have you talked to the?" I'm like, "Yeah, nyabo." "When are you going to see?" I'm like, "Nyabo tugenda."
Mama.
So I sat down. I'm like, "This cannot be." So I called him, and then of course, I went to his institution. He examined Chanel. That was before she was 3. She was just 2, I think. So he told me, "You know what, go and monitor her, but we only take them in when they are at least 3 years of age." So I hit up an ENT doctor. You know, now you try everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So I hit up an ENT doctor. He guided us. We went to the audiovisual center. We took all the tests, and the tests were positive. I said, "Now, what kind of witchcraft is this?"
That's where your mind goes, eh?
Yeah. So, you know, I took the reports back to the doctor. And the doctor said, "But everything is okay." I'm like, "Yes, but she cannot hear. She doesn't respond to sound." Of course, again, like I said, mothers have a way of, you know how to talk to a child, right? Now, my response, or what the response I expect from a child, is supposed to be either spot on, spontaneous, or if it's not there, there's a problem. Because once a child does something like, "Stop it," you expect something.
You expect a response, they stop or look at
But now, when you say,
ignores you. Chanel.
and you're like, "Wait, hold up." Something is not right.
Yes.
So anyhow, I tell the doctor. So the doctor gets 2 pieces of wood. And Chanel is seated with the mother, and she's carrying her. And then and the child does not flinch. She does not move a muscle.
Wow.
The doctor sat in his seat, reclined like this, and he told me, "Mutabani osaba."
Are you serious?
I told him, "Musawa nsaba." I do go to church. He said, "I've heard of a case like this, but the child spoke at age 8. I said, "Really?" So he told me, "My advice to you is, 1, take the child to a kindergarten, okay? Let the child probably play with other kids. She will maybe pick up a few things and whatnot." So I said, "Okay." But she's 2. I'm like, but the sis is already in kindergarten, so they can go,
They can go together.
Yeah. So I did that. 1 term, 2nd term, same old thing. I said, "No, this is not right." Now, again, this is hard to say, but I'm here to speak the truth.
Thank you.
There is nothing that I did not do. I went to churches. I brought shakes. I brought shrieks. Everything. But until one day it hit me, or it hit us, and we accepted that, you know what, there's a problem. And this problem cannot be handled by Mulago Hospital. This problem won't be handled by what they call this thing, surgery.
Yes.
I said, "What now?"
It's not a disease.
We started Googling, you know. And in contacting people, somehow the mother found out that there was an institution where they could take her. Now, things that really hit me the most would be her tantrums. That one was the worst thing that I ever saw. She could cry non-stop, hit herself, throw herself down. You find the mother crying, you hold your baby, and they are strong.
Very strong.
So you hold her tight, you don't know what to do, you're puzzled. I come from Manafo district. So the first time these things happened, I called my parents. I'm like, "Oh, but we didn't name the child well. Let's first drive and go back where we
That it
come
is from the home.
Yes.
In those ancestral things.
We drove and went back to my village.
Uh-huh.
They had to rename the girl. But
You tried.
so after all that, that's when it hit us. We're like, you know what? I think I have to accept this. So in acceptance, I personally I hit rock bottom.
Bless.
Yeah, I got I took a little, I took a few, but now I hit rock bottom and I became addicted. So
Wow.
whenever, wherever, after whatever I was doing,
Yes.
I couldn't sleep without
Oh, wow.
using. So it went on for some time. It was bad. I didn't want to go home. I'm like, nah, I go home, and then I look at my girl, and I have a normal mind, and
So you pass
1, 2
somewhere?
for the road, and then you go home when you're, and then you look at your girl, and you're like, Lord, what did I do to you? So I blamed everyone. I blamed the Lord. I'm sorry. I blamed myself. The blame was thrown around everywhere until I accepted. I said, I need to take this. So again, out of acceptance, me, my family, because you see, family, not all accepted. People thought, because at first they told me, "Umwana mkuze chejo, you don't want to tell the girl anything." I told the guys, the girl is not the normal one that does 8 to 5 and goes to bed at this time and eats and feeds and does what. Even feeding is a process. You have to. So when I took her to that institution, of course, after family had accepted, the whole family had to sit down and accept that there's a problem.
Yes.
So now, how do we handle the problem? So we got an institution. I will be honest with you, Chanel could not feed herself.
At what age now?
I'm talking 3 now.
3 now, so she couldn't
4.
feed. Yes.
4 actually. So we took her to that institution. And it's called Angel Center, Children with Special Needs. And that first term, now I'm talking after COVID, after the second lockdown, I think. So I took her there. And then when she got back home, she could feed herself. I said, is this possible? I'm like, that's the institution. I have to take her back. Because I was skeptical. I'm like, now she don't talk. She
cannot help herself.
Yes. But then one thing I thank the Lord for is that personally, as a father for all my children, when they're with the mother as kids, I was in the morning, if I'm there, when I wake up, it's routine. I put the child on a pot. So the child, because I believe it's a psychological, like Sigmund Freud's theory, it's repetition, so the child will know that I poop in the morning, okay? So that's what I started doing, even for Chanel. So it was whenever she would wake up, and she knew that this is my potty. When I want to poop, I sit on the potty. So that one there, we struggled, but I said yes. Thank heavens, I've accomplished that. So the rest, it's a steady progress. I remember one time I went to the school, and normally they have, you go through what she's been doing that whole time and whatnot. And they told me, then I think she was making 5, 6, I think, 5. They told me, but her speech pattern, she's not. I told them, sorry, I might disappoint you, but I didn't come for speech. I came to see that her behavior towards certain things, she is able to do something. For instance, I'm happy she can feed herself.
Yes.
Before, if you gave her like a cup of, juice or something, she would get it, do this, and just drop it. Now she can take and put on the table and get out to her business. You make cereal, leave it there, she'll come, take, walk away, come back, take, and like, okay, yes, this is progress.
Yes.
So I told them, speech, if it comes, thank
Amen.
God. If it doesn't, as long as she can live within us. And the other thing I loved is that she learned how to, like, if she wants something, if she's hungry, she'll pick her plate, bring it to you, or drag you to the kitchen. And one thing is that I decided, I took it upon myself to have this bond with her. In that whenever she sees me, she's comfortable. She'll come, jump on me, get on my back, do what I'm like, it's okay, let her be. So she's my everything. So I said, Lord, if there is anything I can fail, let me not fail in this one. Yeah. So I appreciated what she gets from that institution. And I do appreciate. As I speak right now, she can try to dress herself. So I'm like, yes, we are moving forward. Other than me sulking, sitting home, blaming the whole world. I will be honest with you, I didn't know these things, these institutions were there. Some of my friends, there's a time, I'll tell you a little story. So one day I called a friend of mine, very close. I told him, my car is in the garage, give me a lift, I have to pick my daughter. So he's like, what's with you and picking your daughter every weekend? I'm like, man, it's a long story, but let's go. I don't want to tell him, let's just go. So he drives me to the institution. When in Wachiso, we get there. So I asked one of the caretakers to give my friend
a tour.
Yeah. He came back to the car. We sat, I picked my daughter because she was throwing tantrums. Now, whenever I pick her, she knows. We reach somewhere, Daddy buys me juice. If I don't have the juice in the car,
It's a problem.
it's a tantrum. So this time I told my friend, I park somewhere, I need to get something. Because she was throwing tantrums. I'm like, I know what she wants, just park. So I got out. The whole time he is quiet. So we drive, get home, then I had the helper. Now, the biggest challenge is getting someone to help you with your child. First of all, I don't know how to use it. I may sound vague, but she's not a daily child. I don't understand no more. She's not that kind of child.
Not neurotypical.
Yeah, not the regular. Yes. Now, getting someone to
appreciate that.
Yes.
And accept it.
And have that
and the love, compassion. It's really compassion.
So fortunately, maids are not easy. You keep switching them and whatnot. But whichever maid I have had has bonded with my daughter. Because whenever I'm getting them, like, I have a daughter very dear to me. If you can take care of her, you will handle everything. As a matter of fact, leave everything else and handle this one. If she's home. So we get home. So because she had learned a few things, now I bought a table, small table for her, and these small plastic seats. That's where she sits to feed. I just tell the maid, take her on a mere, put water there, she'll come and sit. So I get home with my friend, and then my daughter sits down, and the whole time my friend is looking at me like this. She's like, Charlie, can I talk to you? I'm like, bro, we together, what's up? So it's like, I can't believe we hang out together. Tuchikuba, we jam, and you come back to this, and you have never told us. I'm like, and you do what exactly? Feel sorry for me? So he told me, you know what? Let's go and give you like 3 rounds. So we left and we were talking about it. Then he opened up and told me, I have another friend we went to visit and he had 2 kids, but he keeps the kids under lock and key. So I told him, you know what? Since you know where the institution is, get him one day, take him there, and let him have a chat with the director. Most of us, we men, I'll be honest with you, are in denial. Or we don't want to seek help. Or we're too, I don't want to call it comfort, we're too afraid of being judged. Your peers, oh my God, my kid is in this school. Oh my God, my kid has done this. And you're like, now what am I going to tell them? So you hold back, like, it's fun, you're out, you're having fun with your friends, and whoop. When it comes to fun, there's a day I almost cried. So I had picked her from school. They told me, I take her to one of these parks. So I said, she's not very receptive to sound. Now these parks are having like, I don't know, different discos. Or
That's so true. Sound
kids are
sensitivity,
making noise, things, you know, it's chaotic.
Speakers.
Yes.
Children are
So,
shouting, screaming, a lot going on.
We arrive at the park and she refuses to get out of the car. And then one of my friends is like, I want to gym now. So I'm like, do I tell him? I'm like, nah, let him see it by himself, for himself. So, you know, I grab her, take her out, she's making noise, I get her something to drink, and then voila, tantrums.
Meltdown.
She starts hitting herself, she throws herself. Now everyone is looking at me like this.
Like,
So
what's going on?
I called my border guy, told him, pick the maid, come pick the child. The other thing is, I had to stop using borders with her. Because, again, like I said, she's not a regular child. When she sees something nice, and one time I was taking her back on a border, so I was seated. And the border guy was honorably tall. He's about 6'5". So she wanted to see what was ahead.
Oh.
And she grabbed.
Oh my God.
But fortunately, before leaving, I cautioned him, I told him, oh no one, you have to be really steady when you're taking us. Like, we do these things. So she did that, then she tried to, and I told him first park. First park. So from that day I swore, I said, you know what? Then another hustle is using a taxi. Not everyone knows what you're going through. And the child doesn't want to know that. The child is a child. She will see something, she'll reach for it. She'll look out the window, she'll probably see something exciting and make noise.
Make a noise,
and people will be like, you know? So you find some of these things. People tell you, come for a party, come with your kids. And you're like,
Oh, tell them.
wow. Now the kids are not well. And they're like, you don't want your kids to associate. You only bring one. And I'm like, guys, you wouldn't want that, would you? So those are some of the challenges we go through, or I go through.
That you've gone through.
But again, the more like awareness out there, because now my friends know, there are friends who are comfortable with me. They would come with Chanel. If it's a large compound, why not? She'll run around and just tell people, guys, don't you let her out of the gate. Yes. There's a time she ran out of the gate, my heart skipped. I received a phone call, I was at work, and told me, Omwana Abuzi.
What?
I'm like, how? Who opened the gate? And because now she's 7, she's I think she won't have my genes, fortunately. She's somewhat tall. So she can reach.
And open.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Now someone in their mind opened the gate and didn't lock it. So I think when she found it open, she
took the opportunity.
I got a scare of my life. I said, now where do we start? Who do we call? What do you tell the police that we've lost a child? And she doesn't talk. But thank heavens, she knew her way around.
And she came back.
Like, oh no, man, is you worry. So, but let me tell you, like, even up to, whenever I talk about it, I'm like,
You remember?
like,
So she came back on her own.
yeah, she, like, someone met her. I think she met someone she had seen before. And fortunately, dragged the person up to the gate.
Wow.
Wow.
They have a good memory.
They have a
Yes.
good neighborhood as well. We thank
because
God for
I even noticed that whenever I'm taking her to school, she can know she's going back to school. So I was like, oh, thank God. That was a scare. But yeah, so every day is an experience. Every day I keep learning about her. My biggest worry as a father I know where I'm going.
I almost know what you're going to say.
When she makes the teens.
Yeah.
That is my biggest worry. I even tell at the institution, I tell them like, everything here is a walk in the park for me.
Yeah.
It's a cakewalk. But I am worried when she makes either 13 or 12 or whatever. And they're like, no, we'll cross the bridge when we get there.
Exactly.
But for fathers out there, it's real. Autism is real. Do not shy away from it. It's not the end of the world. My daughter is 7 years. I love her so much. And I mean, why would you run away from that responsibility?
Absolutely.
It's a gift from God. Just raise her like any other child. Just know she's special. So you have to know that when you're talking to her, and you know what puzzles me with her? She won't listen to me telling her something, but when you tell her juice, food, oh yes. So, but it's a good experience for me now that I accepted it. I don't know what you guys have gone through, but we have trouble with hospitals. She cannot enter a hospital. No.
I will share my story.
She cannot enter a hospital. You will drag her, you will fight you. Soon as she sees those clocks, it's over. It's over for you. She's not going anywhere. So those are the challenges I face. And then when it comes to taking medicine, maybe swallowing. And now my daughter, because everyone is different, my daughter still doesn't chew the food. Yeah, so if you give her hard stuff, she wouldn't. She would just maybe
Nibble.
Just lick or something like that. And, but again, it's you have to be patient.
Yeah.
I was a very impatient person, very, very impatient, very short-tempered. But Chanel has tamed me.
Yeah, that's what they
I had to calm down.
God sent her to you.
That's what they do.
But yeah, that's my story. I don't know if I've left out anything.
It's been amazing hearing your story. It's been amazing hearing your story. I think I just want to take a moment to honor you,
Yes.
like I was saying before. First of all, your story is so human. The entire time you were sharing, it never even occurred to me that I'm speaking to a father, because it's exactly what I'm sure we've all been through.
Yes.
You have shared such a human experience even before the fact that you're a father, but you also brought out the fact that as a man, you know, there are things that
They're hard to process.
I just want to honor you, and like on behalf of the world. No, for sure. I like I told you earlier on this show, we really, really honor the fathers, because we know that it's harder for you to express yourself. We know that it's harder for you to. With moms, we just move motion. Everything we process as we are in motion. But fathers are not necessarily, like you said, you observe from afar. Sometimes not so, you're not so detail oriented, especially in the first phases. So thank you for being that father that stuck through it, And I think the biggest reward that you're receiving right now, even as you interact with Chanel, is because you saw everything.
You were there, you were present.
You were there for the hard parts, the confusing parts. And when you were talking about how you're worried about her teenagers, I'm sure they're going to give you more technical advice.
Wow.
But I want you to be really encouraged, because even the stuff that she's doing now, remember, you didn't know that you could get through. You didn't see 7 when you were at 2.
Oh, I did.
Right? But every step of the way you've learned, and you've found a way to communicate with each other. So by the time she gets to her teens, God help us, you will definitely have, that bond will have strengthened. The communication will be even better. Like, I'm not even worried about you at all. But I know what you mean. The world is the world, and we're bringing up our children in this world, and she's a girl, and all those
Concerns
emotions and
fears.
feelings that that a father would have for his daughter. But we really, really want to honor you for being the father that you are to Chanel.
Yeah.
I'm trying, work in progress.
You're doing so well. You're doing so well.
Yeah.